Okay, right, we're going to get into it. I've got a clicker here. Brilliant. So we're Solar on Steroids. You've probably heard absolutely tons of these presentations today, so I'm going to go quick, and it's going to be actionable, valuable, and potentially even a little bit funny if I can pull that off. So who is SOS, or Solar on Steroids? It's myself, Jude, and my co-founder, Joe. Before you ask, I was meant to have these glasses on that look really, really cool, and they're actually just blue light glasses. I don't actually need them, and they were going to make me look cool and techie, and now I feel really uncool, so it's unfortunate that I left them at home. Any questions? I know I said I'd be quick, but I'm not actually done. If you do have questions, my co-founder is actually ready on our website. You can go on the live chat and you can ask while I'm talking, because it's going to be quite quick, or just tell him that I'm quite funny. If you want a copy, scan the QR code, and you'll also get loads of other stuff when we release it. So why listen to us? Basically, we generated a £23 million pipeline in just under 90 days for one of our clients. And of that, 1.4 million has already closed. So it's a pretty statement piece. We did that in collaboration with another business called Royal Energy, who specialize in cold email campaigns. This is a screenshot of the pipeline. You can check that after if you like. But basically, we realized that all the work we put in for just this one company, we could actually systemize that and roll it out for a multitude of different companies, charge far less, and actually provide far more value. So now we basically want to reveal everything that we did. Some people might think that's kind of stupid because we're giving away all of our secrets, and people might, copy it, implement it themselves. I'd like to think there's a little bit of skill involved, so maybe not. And it does encourage us to actually keep just innovating and improving for our clients, which is basically exactly what we need to do. And also it shows we know what we're doing, which is obviously very important in the marketing space. Spoiler, we actually pay 100% of our clients' ad costs, which should spark some curiosity. So let's get into it. You've got one or two problems. You've got not enough leads or leads that don't convert, okay? And some people think that they've got a third problem, which is that there isn't the demand. Hopefully from the talks that over the last few days, you've realized that that potentially isn't the case, but some quick maths, just under 200,000 solar systems installed in 2023. That's the area of England. That's the area of your typical service area, 30 miles. That's the area of that service area, meaning there's 18 service areas, which means that in your service area, there are roughly 10,000 installations happening per year. If you captured just 10% of those, you're doing 44 installs a month, and you've got a pretty good business doing about 4.5 million a year and helping 600 households, which is obviously incredibly important. So how do we actually solve the two real problems? So there's a bit of a pyramid. You can either start to kind of do it yourself, which may take quite a lot of time. You can then try and hire an agency, and then maybe you'll get burned by that agency, and then you'll go to a lead aggregator, maybe someone that sells leads directly, and then finally you might go 100% subcontract with companies like Weetable, if you've heard of them. I basically call this the pyramid of insanity, and then I call this one the pinnacle of insanity, and I'm going to explain why. So I made you a staircase. It's going to get really abstract, but bear with me. So this is someone that is looking to install solar. We need to take them from bottom left to top right, okay? This is some of the activities that you may expect as a customer to go through on your way to installing solar, okay? By the way, guys, anyone taking pictures, I'm going to send you this if you go through the website, so feel free. Obviously, feel free to take pictures, but you will have a copy of this. So if you try and do it yourself, you're going to end up, basically your prospect's going to be about 96 years old by the time you've actually finished it and learned it to a kind of suitable degree. If you work with an agency, they will typically specialize in, say, one part of this. So they may help you a little bit with your offer, then maybe do some paid ads. But what's going to happen is your prospect's then making a huge jump up to being a lead. They haven't gone through any of the other nurturing. They haven't really been exposed to your brand all that much. So they're actually going to fall off that staircase, which is why your man at the bottom there is unfortunately laying down, having fallen off. If you work with a lead aggregator, it's basically the same situation, but it's even worse because they haven't actually been exposed to any of your ads, your brand, anything at all, because you're buying that lead completely cold, and then it's probably non-exclusive as well, so you're amongst, say, 2 or 3 others that are just cold calling them up. Which isn't a great situation. And then finally, the pinnacle of insanity. This is where the entire staircase is basically grayed out because you don't own it. If you're just doing the installations on behalf of another company that has that staircase, you're basically renting that staircase. You're building on borrowed land, and at any point they could basically just go, yeah, sorry mate, look, we're increasing our margins, we've hit our 5-year targets, we want to prepare for an exit, we're going to take the 20 mil, go off to the Bahamas, right? And you're basically, you're in a bad spot. The other scenario is, let's say you do 500 amazing jobs for this company, but you have one really difficult customer that does come around and they give that 1-star review, they could, if they've got a really long line of other installers that are ready to take your spot, you could very easily just be taken out of the mix quite quickly. Or they could just go yoink and just take it anyway. The more mature or sensible potential thing that could happen here is that basically your company is actually just riding the success of another company, and that's not really how you want to build a business. If Weetable does very well, you may do very well. If they don't, you could be in a very difficult spot. And then you're left trying to take someone up with no staircase, basically. If you want more stick drawings, you know what to do. So let's build or strengthen this staircase. So we're going to work backwards, because if we start at the ads, then unfortunately we're just going to be giving cash to Zuckerberg, and he's not really going to give us anything back because the leads are going to be terrible. So we'll start with the CRM. I assume most of you have CRMs at the very least, and you're using them effectively, but we basically want to track conversations really effectively so that we can actually give better customer experiences. It's actually far more for the customer's sake than for our internal sake. We want to be able to accurately forecast our cash flow and resources. So this is actually going to really help you, because if you can see how many leads are in your pipeline right at the start and how many actually go the whole way through, you can forecast when you can actually allocate your budget for marketing and other things. We want the CRM to be our central pivotal point where all of the automations and systemization that we put into our business, especially with AI coming along, everything is from that central point. It should all be triggering and firing off of that central point. It's obviously very important for remarketing as well, so actually just increasing the likelihood of sales over time, because solar sales cycles can be very long, and reporting on marketing activities. So it's really big for us, because we don't really care how much the leads are for us, but we do care where the actual sales are coming from. You know, which platforms are actually giving us sales as opposed to which platforms are giving us leads, is what I meant to say. Then we've got aftercare, actually just checking in with the customer and seeing how they're getting on with their installation and all that kind of thing. And of course, that brings us on to the nurturing. So how do we take someone from cold to warm? These are some of the typical buzzwords that are kind of in the mix of taking someone along that path to building rapport, actually getting to a point where someone isn't alarmed when you say, do you want me to come over for a consultation? The first one, which I think is incredibly underused because most people have gone digital, which is quite ironic for a digital marketing agency to say, but it's actually physical mail. So once you've got an address, this is your foundational piece of the puzzle, and you can start to do things like this. So when you get that address, you could feed it through into some sort of system that generates an optimal system design, potentially using AI, or if you've got a team of designers potentially. Then you can generate a personalized brochure for that prospect and get that automatically printed and delivered to that prospect. So within 3 days of them actually just entering their email on your website, they have an optimal, slightly templated design of their system that at least gets the conversation going. It won't be ready for them to just get installed, but it will get the conversation going, and it shows you put the effort in. So we're actually going to cover the costs for our clients for this because we're so confident in it, essentially. This is an example of the one that we did for the commercial client. Next, we've got the email nurturing, so it should be your most used touch point. Your prospects should absolutely never be left waiting on you. And this is why it's so important, especially if someone's coming to you organically. They're basically going to come to you, they may give you their information, and then they're going to immediately go to the next person and the next person, right? If we can send them a very timely, very valuable, very nice email straight away, we can maybe catch their attention and actually prevent that from happening. This has to be instant, so you cannot rely on just doing this manually. It has to be inbuilt into your business. So we actually run 30-day email sequences for all of our clients. This is typically what this may look like. We'll start with an intro and some education into solar. Then we'll move on to some primary objection handling. So, you know, the typical questions like, does solar actually work in England? Then we'll go on to case studies and reviews, ideally featuring actual like video content from your customers, and then a call to action series. So there's call to actions throughout, but we want to make sure that near the end we really hammer down on that urgency and someone actually taking action. Next up, we've got WhatsApp or SMS. So people can find this a little bit annoying sometimes, so we want to make sure this is just very time sensitive, very useful information. We rarely want to use this for marketing. The only exception is maybe like requesting a review. Otherwise, it should just be actually just very factual, useful information for the customer. If you want the tactful scripts that we use, again, you know what to do. Social media instant messaging, okay? So if you really want to go the extra mile, SMS is a bit old. If you want to get down with the kids, then you should use tools like ManyChat. to actually talk to your customers through things like Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of thing, you can set up these automations that can at least start the conversation. So AI chatbots aren't really there, especially with how complex solar is, to actually get them the whole way, but it can at least nurture them, start the conversation, answer some basic questions and that kind of thing. We set up some really basic automations as well, so just when someone follows, just making sure they automatically get a message asking if you can help them at all. So now we've got all the one-to-one marketing covered, but what about one-to-many? So this is where your organic social media comes in. So you can take the red pill or the blue pill. You can either spend 10 minutes creating some automations and roughly £30 a month, or you can hire some spotty teenager like me on £12 per hour to run all of your social media accounts. So I would recommend you probably go the red route. So here's a really quick example of how that may work. Some of these you may recognize, some of these you may not. So when you get a new review through, what's going to happen is that's going to go through to ChatGPT, which is then going to create a reply for that review, which you can send straight back to Google. Then it's also going to go to ChatGPT to create a social media caption for that post. Then that's going to get fed by Zapier into Senja, which is basically going to create platform-specific images for that review. So different resolutions based on the platforms you need is then going to go back to Zapier, which is going to automatically combine the post and the caption to post that on your social media, so that your social media is constantly active with you doing absolutely no effort at all. This is what this can look like. You can make it super vibrant, super fun. So how do you actually get the reviews, which brings us on to reputation management. Reputation is absolutely everything in solar. Your team should be asking for reviews and have a very, very easy way to actually collect them. So we design custom scannable cards and actually send those to our clients. So when you're actually at the customer's home, you can just show the card and they can very quickly scan it with their mobile phone. Here's Hope We Weren't Crap, which said something else. My co-founder said it was a bit inappropriate. We get Domino's on Friday if we get enough 5-star reviews. Or please leave a review so Google doesn't hate us. You can have a bit of fun with these. And you can even bring different ones. And if you feel the rapport is there with the customer, then obviously use the funny one. If it's not, then maybe use the different one. If you don't get the review there and then, again, that's where our CRM comes in and we start to actually build that through the other routes. But Google reviews are just the start. So we actually offer an incentive for people to give a video review of the customer actually with their system. And we create these custom forms that are very easy, as you can see that lovely model there demonstrating, where someone just whips this up on their phone and they can very easily record this review and it goes straight through into our systems. Then obviously that's attributed to their original kind of review because we can't incentivize Google reviews, which is very important, by the way. And then we can use that throughout all of our activities. So our website, our paid media campaigns, like imagine how well that video is going to perform as an actual paid ad. It's going to be incredible. But what can we actually get ourselves? It's always quite difficult to get things from the customer, but basically the key note here is just to make every customer feel like their installation is of your showroom standard. So you may feel that if you take loads of pictures and a video with the installation team and all that kind of stuff, you're just wasting time of the customer and things like that. But it doesn't take that long and it actually gives off the impression that you're really proud of the work. So I think it's a major plus if you do so. This is the tier sheet for case study collection that we made for our commercial solar clients. But if you want the residential version, sign up to newsletter. Some quick pointers: drone footage, obviously, still shots of the panels, internal equipment, installation team, big smiles, ideally a photo with the customer if you can, and then a short write-up on the project from the install team as well. So can we just forget about those referrals now that many of us are probably relying on? Absolutely not. In fact, we can make those even better. So solar is such a huge purchase that you can actually use affiliates very effectively. So we make this completely automatic as well. When an installation is marked as complete in the customer CRM, they'll automatically get sent an affiliate link and then encouraged to share them over another email nurturing campaign. And then the referral earnings will just get sent automatically when someone goes all the way through your system. Website. So this has got the potential to either make or break everything. So you've got 3 components: traffic, trust, and conversion. Traffic is the hardest. Forget AI content unless you're going to just make an FAQ or a glossary, etc. Forget ranking on Reddit. Basically, just forget everything shiny. If you want to rank organically, focus on these 4 things. You want helpful content, coverage in local news, optimize Google Business Profile, and recent reviews. So moving on to trust. First of all, so people work with people. You need to feature the team and ideally the owner or managing director on the website prominently. So this isn't hidden in some about page that you can only reach if you go to the bottom of the site. This is like homepage, very high up, actually building that report really early. So We have conversations and people say all the time that when they get on the phone with me, they love me. You know, I'm a great salesperson, I can really build that rapport, but that's great, but why not just show people that when they land on your website far earlier in the journey and actually build that rapport then, instead of like the 5% that actually make it to get in on a phone call with you. Next is social proof. So people think they've got their social proof covered and then their review sections look like this. I'm really sorry if I've called you out here, but we've got Simon, we've got no avatar of Simon, so we can't see what Simon looks like. We can't really relate to him. The only way I can relate to Simon is because he's also a male, I assume. We've got the text-based review, we've got no images of the install, we've got no video, we've got absolutely nothing, and by the looks of it, it's one review. The review is also hard-coded or typed into the website, so we don't really know where the source of that review is either, and with a lot of people faking reviews, it's very likely that's actually fake. So we want to build really rich actual walls of love and testimonials with video content, image content, everything, and all the sources of where that came from. So we also have the widgets as well, so we can have this just popping up on random different pages and everything like that. And of course, the process as well. So installing solar can be confusing and daunting. I was watching the panel discussion and there was a really good question about that as well. So basically, the more we can reduce uncertainty, the higher that's gonna correlate with actually increasing sales. And the sooner we do that in the journey, the better as well. So next, conversion. If you don't have conversion nailed, you're basically going to be left in this situation. Loads of people saying you've got a cool website, but no one actually inquiring. And then they're going to go, that was fun, I'm going to go back to Facebook and keep watching my cat videos. Or wait, I have to call them up. Yeah, that's not happening. Remember, a lot of people are browsing social media late in the evening. They're not going to really want to call you up, say 9 p.m. on a Friday night. Most solar businesses are actually so easy to beat on this front. Just get some of these conversion mechanisms in place: live chat, email access, newsletter, lead magnets, calendar book, slot booking, etc. Because nurturing an additional email address costs you absolutely nothing. And if you're not doing this, you're basically only appealing to the 3% of the market that are actively buying, and you're leaving the additional 67% that would actually buy in 6 to 12 months if you gave them the right nurturing or rapport to build that relationship. So we're actually working on an AI-powered ROI calculation lead form, similar to what you may see by these lead aggregators. And when that's ready, we're going to just roll that out to all of our clients at no additional cost, basically trying to close the gap between the independent installer and these larger, almost tech companies. Next is paid ads. So these are your weapons. You've got Meta ads, Google ads, and LinkedIn ads. You might be thinking LinkedIn is B2B, or I would question that. You've got a platform full of professionals who often own their own home, and advertising solar on LinkedIn can actually be a huge pattern interrupt. These are some examples of LinkedIn ads. You've got lead generation, software. Bam, Gary's gone solar. He's saving money every month, and you can get your solar system designed by AI in 60 seconds. That is a real pattern interrupt, and bearing in mind a lot of people are using LinkedIn when they should be working, this is actually going to really entice people. We also use breakcode, which basically just enables you to create very tailored lists that you can use to basically engage with a very select group of people. Next is targeting. Basically, don't overcomplicate it. Meta is so good at targeting now that you don't want to be the guy in the middle that's just testing so many different interests and all these different things and getting worked up. Just let Meta do the targeting, as long as you've got a basic understanding of the ads. Fortunately, I'm the guy on the bottom end of the IQ scale, and my co-founder's up on the top end, so we're in agreement on this one. Your creative is king though, because Meta do all of the targeting. If you run single image ads and they haven't worked before, then basically it's your fault, and I'm really sorry about that. You need video content, you need it to be optimized for attention, and ideally customer generated. Otherwise, Weetable are basically just going to eat your ads for breakfast. They're running a lot at the moment, so it will happen. Remember also, you're competing against lots of different types of content on social media. So your single image ad of an Australian home with solar on the roof, the stock photo, is not going to do very well against some of the content you see on Instagram. You've got a 3-step framework for your ads. You've got hook, basically just getting people to watch longer and longer. Then you've got the social proof, actually showing the A to B transformation. And then you've got the basically twisting the knife and inciting that urgency for them to actually just take the next step. So where do you actually send people? So Meta's native lead form ads are absolutely terrible, and they produce terrible quality leads, which is why if you've worked with an agency before and they gave you leads and none of them closed, and they probably said it's up to your sales skills, if they were giving you these leads, then I'm really not surprised, because we've even had people tell us that their kids have basically just entered their details automatically on their iPad. It's that quick, it takes half a second. So we actually focus on conversations instead. basically just sending people to a social media inbox with a few prompts that they can just click very quickly. This has been working incredibly well, but remember, if you do this, you need to reply fast because we cannot leave people just sat in that inbox awaiting a response. Next is your offer. How do you differentiate? Is there anything that you can work into your offer to kind of separate you from the market? This is Alex Hormozy, an absolute idol of mine. Focus on this chart and watch a video from him on it. It's brilliant. Combine this with a unique selling point like panels with a 30-year warranty. A quick shout out to one of our clients, UK Sol, and this can be a really, really strong offer. So there you have it. What a nice staircase that we've built. Hopefully it was somewhat useful. If you want the resources we mentioned, then you know what to do. Go to the website and sign up. If all of this sounds like a lot of work, which it is quite a lot of work, but it's all entirely possible, then our offer is basically no upfront cost, no recurring cost. We'll set up everything we've talked about today for £0 because we've already done it. It's all systemized. And then we'll pay for your ad spend on your ad account, so they're actually seeing your brand, your pictures, you're going to your social profile, etc. And then we won't actually charge just for the leads. We'll charge based on how good the leads are. So we'll charge a very small fee when you actually get that first lead, but then we charge again when you get a positive reply, because then we know that person actually did mean to inquire, they're slightly warm to you, and then again when they actually accept a phone call from you, again when they actually do a consultation, and then finally a small commission on the end. We think this is a much, much more fair model because we only win when the leads are actually good and the system actually works. So my stand looks really crap, so don't go over there, but I will be standing over here somewhere if you do want to have a conversation after this talk. Also, you can just book a call directly with us. If you're not interested, then can you just raise your phone and pretend that you're booking a call anyway, so it looks like I did a good job. See a few people did. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for listening. So I welcome any questions, and I hope you guys at least enjoyed.